The sun set over Earth, but this time it was not blocked by ships. Most of the alien fleet had pulled back, hovering at the edge of the atmosphere, waiting. Inside Gravok's command ship, something that had never happened before was happening now. A warlord was asking for peace. Gravok sat at the black stone table, but he did not look like a conqueror anymore. His shoulders were bent. His eyes were tired. The memories he had received were still echoing in his mind, and he knew they would stay there forever. He would never be able to forget what he had felt. Across from him sat Yuna. She looked exhausted too, channeling. 7 billion minds had taken more energy than she had known she had. But she was still there. Still smiling. Still hoping. "I will leave," Gravok said. His voice was quieter than before, almost gentle. "My fleet will withdraw. We will not attack your world." "Thank you," Yuna said. "Do not thank me. I am not doing this out of kindness. I am doing this because I have no choice." He paused. "What you did, what your species can do, we cannot fight against that. Our weapons are useless against minds. Our armies cannot conquer souls. We do not want to fight you," Yuna said. "We never did. We just wanted to be left alone." Gravok shook his head slowly. "You do not understand. In the galaxy, there is no such thing as being left alone. The strong take from the weak. The powerful rule the powerless. That is how it has always been. That is how it will always be. Maybe it can change. Maybe." Gravok did not sound convinced. "But change is slow, and the universe is old. Your species is young. You have only been among the stars for how long?" "We have not left our planet yet," Yuna admitted. "Not really. We sent a few machines, a few people to our moon. But we have not traveled to other worlds." Gravok stared at her. "You have not left your planet? But your technology, the neural link, the collective consciousness, we developed that to help each other communicate, to understand each other better. We did not know it could be used as a weapon until today." For a long moment, Gravok said nothing. Then he laughed a real laugh this time, full of disbelief. "You are even more dangerous than I thought," he said. "A species that creates the most powerful weapon in the galaxy by accident, just because they wanted to talk to each other better." He shook his head. "When you finally leave your planet, the universe will never be the same." Yuna was not sure if that was a compliment or a warning. Maybe it was both. "What will you tell the others?" she asked. "The other species, the other warlords. What will you say about Earth?" Gravok thought about this for a long time. His generals were listening, their faces serious. They had all been changed by what happened. They would never see humans or any species the same way again. "I will tell them the truth," Gravok finally said. "I will tell them that there is a small blue planet on the edge of the galaxy. I will tell them that the creatures who live there are soft and weak and short-lived. I will tell them that these creatures smile at their enemies and love their friends and never, ever give up." He stood up from the table. "And I will tell them this. Do not go there. Do not disturb them. Do not wake them from their peace. Because if you do, you will learn what we learned today. You will learn that the most dangerous species in the universe is not the one with the biggest weapons or the strongest armies. It is the one that has survived everything, lost everything, and still found reasons to hope. It is the one that smiles." He looked at Yuna one last time. "Goodbye, human. I do not think we will meet again. But I will remember you. I will remember your smile. And whenever I feel the urge to conquer, I will think of what you showed me today, and I will choose a different path." Yuna stood and bowed her head slightly. "Goodbye, Warlord Gravok. I hope you find what you are looking for." "What do you mean?" "In the memories, I felt something from you too. Not much. The connection only goes one way, but a little." "You are tired, Gravok." Tired of fighting. Tired of conquering. Tired of being alone. I hope you find peace. Gravik did not answer, but something in his eyes changed, softened. For just a second, he did not look like a warlord. He looked like a very old, very tired being who had forgotten what it felt like to rest. Then the moment passed. He turned and walked out of the room, his generals following behind him. Within an hour, his ship had risen into the sky. Within a day, the entire fleet was gone, disappearing into the darkness between stars. On Earth, people stood in the streets and watched the ships leave. They were still connected through the neural link, still feeling each other's emotions. There was relief. There was joy. There was pride. But there was also something else, a new understanding of what they were capable of. Both good and bad. Director Kang found Yuna sitting alone on a hill, watching the last ships vanish into the distance. He sat down next to her without speaking. "We did it," he finally said. "We actually did it." "Yes," Yuna agreed. "We did." "You did. You were the one standing in front of them. You were the one who gave the signal. I just did my part. 7 billion people did the rest." They sat in silence for a while, watching the stars appear one by one as the sky darkened. "What happens now?" Kang asked. Why Yuna thought about it. "We learn. We grow. We prepare. Gravik will tell others about us, but not everyone will listen. Someday, another fleet will come. Maybe not in our lifetime, maybe not for 100 years, but someday. And when that day comes, we need to be ready. Ready to fight? Ready to show them who we are. Fighting is the last resort. But sharing, connecting, making them understand, that is our real power. That is what saved us today." Kang nodded slowly. The world is different now. Everyone felt what it was like to be connected. Everyone felt what it was like to be truly united, even if just for a moment. That changes things. "It does," Yuna agreed. "Maybe we will finally stop fighting each other. Maybe we will finally learn to work together, not just when aliens threaten us, but all the time. Maybe this is the beginning of something new. Or maybe we will go back to the way things were." Humans are good at forgetting. We are also good at remembering. Yuna smiled. That is what makes us human. We carry our history with us, the good and the bad. We learn from it. We grow because of it. And when we need to, we can share it with others. She looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, Gravik was flying back to his empire. Somewhere out there, he was thinking about what he had experienced. And somewhere out there, other species were about to learn a new word, human. "You know what the strangest part is?" Yuna said. "What?" "When I was connected to everyone, I felt something I did not expect. I felt how much we all love each other. Not perfectly, not always, but underneath everything, underneath the arguments and the wars and the hatred, there is love. So much love. It is the thing that kept us alive for all these years. It is the thing that makes us smile even when everything is falling apart." She turned to look at Kang. Her eyes were wet, but she was smiling. "We are not a perfect species. We have done terrible things to each other and to our world. But we are also capable of incredible kindness, incredible courage, incredible hope. And today, we showed the universe what that looks like." Kang smiled back. "So what do we do tomorrow?" Yuna laughed softly. "Tomorrow we go back to work. We help rebuild. We take care of each other. We live our lives. And if anyone asks why we smile, we tell them the truth. Which is, we smile because we are human. And being human is enough." The stars shone above them, cold and distant. But somewhere out there, a warlord was carrying a new message across the galaxy. A warning, a story, a lesson. Never wake the humans from their peace, because when they wake up, they do not fight with weapons, that they fight with something far more powerful. They fight with everything they are, and that is something no army in the universe can defeat. The wave hit them all at once. Every alien in the fleet, every soldier on the ground, every general in the chamber, they all felt it at the same moment. It was not a physical attack. It was something far worse. It was memory. 7 billion human minds opened like doors, and everything inside them came pouring out. General Torma was the first to fall. She dropped to her knees, her 4 arms wrapped around her head, screaming words that made no sense. In her mind, she was seeing things she had never experienced. A mother holding a newborn baby, a child taking its first steps, an old man crying in his wife's grave. The memories were not her own, but they felt real, more real than anything she had ever felt before. Then came the pain. She felt every wound humanity had ever suffered, every broken bone, every sickness, every death. Millions of years of suffering compressed into seconds. She felt what it was like to starve, to freeze, to burn. She felt what it was like to lose everything you loved and keep going anyway. Stop. She screamed. Make it stop. But it did not stop. It got worse. Now she was feeling the wars, not just watching them, living them. She was a soldier in ancient battles, swinging a sword until her arms could not move. She was a nurse in hospitals, watching young men die and knowing she could not save them. She was a child hiding in a basement while bombs fell outside. She was a prisoner in camps where humans had done terrible things to other humans. Torma had destroyed 12 worlds. She thought she knew what cruelty looked like. She was wrong. Humans were capable of horrors that made her conquests look like games. And they had done these things to each other, to their own kind. But that was not the worst part. The worst part was what came after the horror. Because mixed with all the pain and suffering, there was something else. Something that Torma had no word for. After every war, humans rebuilt. After every disaster, they helped each other. After every loss, they found a way to hope again. They never stopped. They never gave up. No matter how many times the universe knocked them down, they got back up and smiled. That was what broke her. Not the pain, but the hope. The endless, unstoppable, impossible hope. Across the chamber, the other generals were having the same experience. General Drac, who had killed 10,000 enemies in battle, was crying like a baby. He was feeling what it was like to hold your dying child in your arms. He was feeling what it was like to watch your home burn and have nowhere to go. He was feeling what it was like to be completely alone in a crowd of millions. But he was also feeling what it was like to find love after losing everything. He was feeling what it was like to hear music that made your soul sing. He was feeling what it was like to laugh so hard you could not breathe, even when nothing was funny, just because you were alive, and that was enough. General Vonuk, the oldest of them, had fallen to the floor. His mind was flooded with human history, all of it, from the first cave paintings to the last message sent before the ships arrived. He saw humans building pyramids with nothing but their hands and their will. He saw humans walking on their moon and crying with joy. He saw humans creating art so beautiful that it made even aliens weep. He also saw the darkness, the hatred, the violence, the times when humans had forgotten what they were and become something terrible. But even in those dark times, there was always someone who remembered. There was always a light that refused to go out. Gravovok alone was still standing. His mind was stronger than his generals, built over centuries of war and conquest. He could feel the wave trying to break through his defenses, and he was fighting it with everything he had. "What are you doing?" he managed to say. Each word was a battle. Yuna stepped closer to him. Her eyes were still glowing white, and her voice still carried the sound of billions. We are showing you who we are, she said. All of us. Every human who has ever lived, every memory, every emotion, every dream. We are giving you everything. Why? Because you asked why we smile. This is the answer. We smile because we have earned the right to smile. We have suffered more than you can imagine, and we survived. We have done terrible things to each other, and we learned from them. We have faced the end of our world dozens of times, and we always found a way to keep going. She was right in front of him now, so close that she had to look almost straight up to see his face. You think we are weak because we are small, but size is not strength. You think we are weak because we feel love, but love is not weakness. You think we are weak because we smile at our enemies, but that smile is not surrender, it is defiance. It says, you can take everything from us, but you cannot take this. You cannot take our joy. You cannot take our hope. You cannot take our humanity. Gravavik's defenses were breaking. He could feel the memories pushing through, and each one hurt more than the last. He felt what it was like to be a father, to hold your child and know that you would die for them without a second thought. He felt what it was like to be in love, to look at another being and see your whole world reflected in their eyes. He felt what it was like to be human God, and for the first time in his long, long life, he understood that he had been wrong. He had thought that power came from taking, from conquering, from making others fear you. But that was not power, that was just violence. Real power came from something else entirely. Real power came from connection, from caring about something bigger than yourself, from being willing to give everything for others, not because you had to, but because you wanted to. Humans had that power. They had always had it, and now they were using it. Outside the ship, the alien fleet was in chaos. Thousands of soldiers were on the ground, overwhelmed by the psychic wave. Ships were crashing into each other as their crews lost control. The perfectly ordered invasion force had become a mess of screaming, crying, broken warriors. On Earth, something beautiful was happening. 7 billion people were standing together, their minds linked, their hearts beating as one. They could feel each other, every single person on the planet, connected in a way that had never been possible before. A grandmother in Korea could feel the thoughts of a child in Brazil. A businessman in London could feel the dreams of a farmer in Kenya. They were all different, all unique, all individual, but in this moment, they were also one, and they were not attacking. That was the part the aliens did not understand. The humans were not trying to hurt them. They were trying to show them. They were trying to share the one thing that made humanity special, their ability to feel. Gravik fell to his knees. Tears were streaming down his gray face, tears he had not cried since he was a child, so long ago that he had forgotten what they felt like. Enough, he whispered. Please, enough. Yuna knelt down in front of him. Her eyes had stopped glowing, and her voice was her own again. But the connection was still there, still humming in the background. Do you understand now? She asked gently. Gravik looked at her. For the first time, she saw something other than anger or contempt in his eyes. She saw confusion. She saw pain. She saw wonder. How do you survive? He asked. How do you carry all of this? The memories, the emotions, the pain. How do you not break? Yuna smiled. A real smile, warm and kind. We help each other carry it, she said. That is what it means to be human. We are not alone. We are never alone. And because of that, we can carry anything. Gravik looked down at his hands. Hands that had killed millions. Hands that had destroyed worlds. Hands that had never built anything, never healed anything, never held anything with love. I'm sorry, he said quietly. I did not know. I did not understand. Around them, The generals were slowly recovering. They sat on the floor, their faces changed, their eyes different. The wave had broken something inside them, or maybe it had fixed something that had been broken for a very long time. Torma looked at Yuna with new eyes. "What are you?" she asked. "What kind of species are you?" Yuna stood up and offered her hand to help Torma rise. "We are human," she said simply. "That is all we have ever been. That is all we will ever be. But we have learned that human is enough. More than enough." Torma looked at the small hand extended toward her. Such a tiny thing. Such a simple gesture. But after what she had just experienced, she understood what it meant. She took it. That night, Yuna was given a small room on the ship. It was more like a prison cell, metal walls, no windows, a hard bed that was too big for her. But she did not complain. She sat on the edge of the bed and waited. At midnight, a soft voice spoke in her head. "Yuna, can you hear me?" She closed her eyes. "I can hear you, Director Kang." The voice was not coming from outside. It was coming from inside her mind, from a tiny device implanted at the base of her skull. Every human on Earth had one. They had been placed there 10 years ago, during what people called the Great Update. The governments told everyone it was for communication and health monitoring. That was true. But it was not the whole truth. "How are you?" Kang asked. "I am okay. Scared, but okay." "How is Earth?" "Everyone is watching. The whole world saw your meeting with Gravok. You did well, Yuna. You bought us time." "How much time do we have?" "Gravok said they will attack tomorrow. So we have maybe 12 hours. 12 hours. 12 hours before the end of the world. Is the council ready?" Yuna asked. "Yes, all 7 billion of us are linked. We are just waiting for your signal." Yuna opened her eyes and looked at the metal ceiling above her. "I need to tell you something, Director." "What is it?" "I do not know if this will work. We have never done anything like this before. The neural link was made for communication, not for this." "I know, but it is the only chance we have. Our weapons cannot hurt them. Our armies cannot stop them. This is all we have left." Yuna thought about what they were planning. It was dangerous. It might not work. And even if it did work, they did not know what would happen afterward. But Kang was right. There was no other option. "I understand," she said. "I will give the signal when the time is right." "Good. And Yuna?" "Yes, thank you. For volunteering. For standing in front of that monster and smiling. You gave people hope." Yuna smiled in the darkness. "That is what smiles are for." The connection ended, and she was alone again. She did not sleep that night. She lay on the hard bed and thought about her life. Her parents, who had died when she was young. Her grandmother, who had raised her. Her friends, her colleagues, the people she had helped during her years as a diplomat. All of them were counting on her now. Morning came slowly. The lights in her room got brighter, and the door opened. 2 soldiers stood outside. "The Warlord wants to see you," one of them said. "The attack begins soon. He wants you to watch." They led her through the ship to a room at the very top. It was a viewing chamber, with walls made of clear material that let her see in every direction. From here, she could see the whole sky and the thousands of ships that filled it. Gravok was there, standing with his generals. They were all looking at screens that showed different parts of Earth. Cities, military bases, power stations. All their targets. "Good morning, smiling human," Gravok said without turning around. "Did you sleep well?" "Not really," Yuna admitted. "Your beds are too big." Torma made a disgusted sound. "Why is she here? Why do you keep her alive?" "Because I want her to see," Gravok said. "I want her to watch as everything she loves is destroyed. I want to see if she will still smile then." He turned to face Yuna. In the morning light, he looked even more terrifying than before. His gray skin seemed to absorb all color, leaving him looking like a statue carved from shadow. "Today is the last day of human freedom," he announced. "In 1 hour, my ships will begin the attack. By sunset, your major cities will be gone. By tomorrow, your governments will have fallen. By next week, your species will belong to us." The generals cheered. Their voices echoed through the chamber like thunder. Yuna said nothing. She just stood there, watching. "Nothing to say?" Gravik asked. "No more pretty speeches? No more talk of hope and spirit?" Yuna looked at him. "Can I ask you one more question?" "You and your questions. Fine. Ask. Why do you conquer worlds? What do you want? What is the point of all this?" Gravik seemed surprised by the question. He thought for a moment before answering. "Power," he said finally. "We conquer because we can. Because we are strong and others are weak. That is the way of the universe. The strong take. The weak give. It has always been this way. But why do you want power? What do you do with it? We survive. We grow. We become stronger. And then we take more. That sounds empty." Gravik's eyes flashed. "Empty? I rule 1,000 worlds. I command millions of soldiers. I have lived for 300 of your years, and I will live for 300 more. My name is known across the galaxy. How is that empty?" "Because you are alone," Yuna said softly. "All that power, all those worlds, and you are still alone. You have soldiers, but do you have friends? You have subjects, but do you have family? You have fear, but do you have love?" The chamber went silent. Even the generals stopped making noise. Gravik stared at Yuna with an expression she could not read. Then he laughed, but it was a hollow laugh, without any real humor. "Love," he repeated. "You humans and your love. You think it makes you special. You think it makes you strong. But love is weakness. Love makes you protect those who cannot protect themselves. Love makes you sacrifice yourself for others. Love makes you vulnerable." "Yes," Yuna agreed. "It does all those things. But it also makes us fight harder than we would ever fight for ourselves. It makes us endure pain that would break us if we were alone. It makes us dangerous." "Dangerous?" Torma laughed. "You are not dangerous. You are pathetic." Yuna turned to look at her. "You think so? Let me tell you about humans, General. We are small, yes. We are weak, yes. But we are also the only species that runs toward danger instead of away from it. When there is a fire, humans run into the building to save strangers. When there is a flood, humans form chains with their own bodies to pull people from the water. When there is war, humans throw themselves on explosives to protect their friends." She paused. "We do not do these things because we are brave. We do them because we love. And that love is the most powerful force in the universe." Gravik shook his head. "Pretty words. But words will not stop what is coming." "No," Yuna said. "They will not." She took a deep breath. "But this will." She closed her eyes and activated the neural link. Not just her link, all of them. Every implant and every human on Earth. All 7 billion of them, all at once. For a moment, nothing happened. Then everything happened. The screens around the chamber flickered. The lights dimmed. Outside, the alien ships started to shake. Soldiers on the ground grabbed their heads and screamed. And Gravik, mighty Gravik, conqueror of worlds, stumbled backward like he had been struck. "What is this?" he demanded. "What are you doing?" Yuna opened her eyes. They were glowing now, not orange like the aliens, but white, like pure light. "I told you," she said. Her voice was different, deeper, like many voices speaking at once. I told you that you had never met humans before. The generals tried to move toward her, but they could not. Their bodies would not obey them. All across the ship, all across the fleet, soldiers were falling to their knees, clutching their heads, screaming in languages Yuna did not understand. We are not just one woman, she continued. We are not just one species. We are 7 billion minds, connected. 7 billion hearts, beating as one. 7 billion souls, united by love and hope and fear and everything that makes us human. She stepped toward Gravok. He tried to back away, but his legs would not move. You wanted to know why we smile? This is why. Because we know something you do not know. We know that alone we are weak, but together, we are infinite. The chamber filled with light. And for the first time in 300 years, Warlord Gravok felt something he had forgotten existed. He felt afraid. Gravok led Yuna into his ship. The inside was dark and cold, lit only by orange lights that lined the walls. The metal floor was smooth under her feet, and the air smelled strange like old blood and machine oil mixed together. She walked between 2 rows of soldiers. Each one was bigger than any human, and each one looked at her with those small, burning eyes. Some of them made sounds as she passed. Low, rumbling sounds that might have been laughter or might have been something worse. Yuna kept walking. She kept her back straight and her face calm. And yes, she kept smiling. They entered a large room at the center of the ship. It was a war room, filled with screens and maps and strange devices that Yuna did not understand. In the middle stood a table made of black stone, and around it sat Gravok's generals. There were 7 of them. Each one was almost as large as Gravok himself. Each one wore armor marked with different symbols. And each one looked at Yuna like she was an insect that had crawled into their home. Sit, Gravok commanded. There were no chairs small enough for her. Yuna looked around, then simply stood at the edge of the table. I will stand, thank you. One of the generals, a female with deep scars across her face, made a sharp sound. It thanks us. How polite. More laughter. This is General Torma, Gravok said, pointing to the scarred female. She has destroyed more worlds than you have years of life. And this is General Drak. He once killed 10,000 enemies in a single battle. And this is General Vonok, General Sira, General Krath, General Balun, and General Thax. Together, we have conquered more than 300 planets. Yuna looked at each of them. It is nice to meet you all. Silence. Then, Torma slammed her fist on the table. Is this a joke? She demanded. Gravok, why did you bring this creature here? Why are we wasting time with words? We should be burning their cities right now. Patience, Torma, Gravok said. He sat down in a massive chair at the head of the table. I wanted to understand something first. This human, she is different. She does not behave correctly. She is broken, General Drak said. His voice was even deeper than Gravok's. Some species go mad when they see us. Their minds cannot accept what is happening, so they stop working properly. That is why she smiles. Her brain has stopped functioning. Yuna shook her head. My brain is working fine. I smile because I choose to. You choose to? Torma leaned forward. You choose to smile at your conquerors. You choose to show happiness while your world ends? My world has not ended yet, Yuna said simply. It will, soon. Maybe, but not yet. And until that moment comes, I will keep smiling. I will keep talking. I will keep hoping. General Vonok, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. He was older than the others. His gray skin wrinkled and faded. What exactly do you hope for, human? That we will change our minds? That we will look at your smile and decide to leave? That has never happened. It will never happen. I hope for understanding, Una said. I hope that if we talk long enough, you will see that we are not just animals to be conquered. We are people. We have families. We have dreams. We have history. We have value. This time, the laughter was louder. General Sarah, the smallest of the group, actually had to hold the table to keep from falling over. Value? Sarah repeated. Your species cannot even travel between stars. You fight each other over tiny pieces of land. You poison your own air and water. You have been watching the sky for only a few hundred years, and you think you have value? Yes, Una said. Explain, Gravik said. He was not laughing. He was watching her with those burning eyes, studying her like she was a puzzle he could not solve. Why Yuan? A thought for a moment. Then she spoke. A long time ago, before my people had writing, before we had cities, we lived in small groups. We hunted animals and gathered plants to survive. Life was hard. Many of us died young. But we survived. Do you know how? By being lucky, Torma said. By working together, Una corrected. By sharing food with those who were hungry. By protecting those who were weak. By sitting around fires and telling stories to each other. We survived because we cared about each other. That is why we smile. A smile is a promise. It says, I will not hurt you. I am your friend. We are together. Gravik leaned back in his chair. A pretty story, but it changes nothing. You survived because you were lucky. Because no stronger species found you and took your world. Now your luck has ended. We are here. And smiling will not save you. Maybe not, Una agreed. But it is still worth doing. Why? Because even if we die, we will die as ourselves. We will die human. We will not become animals fighting for survival. We will not become monsters killing without thought. We will face our end with dignity. And that, Warlord Gravik, is something no one can take from us. The room was silent again. But this time, the silence felt different, heavier. Some of the generals were still smiling, but their smiles looked uncertain now. Torma stood up. Enough of this. Gravik, give the order. Let us begin the conquest. Not yet. Gravik raised one hand. I want to show our guests something first. He touched a device on the table. The screens around the room changed, showing images of Earth, cities full of people, farms and forests and oceans, children playing in parks, old people sitting on benches, families eating dinner together. This is what we will take, Gravik said. Everything you see. Your cities will become our factories. Your oceans will become our fuel. Your people will become our workers. Those who resist will die. Those who obey will live, but they will live as slaves. Una looked at the images. Her home, her people, everything she loved. I know, she said softly. I know what you plan to do, and you still smile? Yes. Well, why? Gravik's voice thundered through the room. He was finally showing emotion frustration, maybe, or something close to anger. Why you keep smiling? What is wrong with you? Una turned to face him. For the first time, her smile faded just a little. Not gone, but smaller, sadder. Do you want to know the truth, Warlord? Yes, tell me. I smile because I am scared. That answer surprised everyone. Even Una herself seemed surprised that she had said it. I am scared, she continued. I am so scared that my whole body wants to shake. I want to run. I want to hide. I want to scream and cry and beg for my life. But I cannot do those things. I am here to represent my people. I am here to show you who we are. And we are not a species that breaks easily. She took a breath. We have survived ice ages that lasted thousands of years. We have survived plagues that killed half our population. We have survived wars that destroyed entire nations. We have survived earthquakes and floods and fires and famines. We have survived everything the universe has thrown at us. And do you know what we did after each disaster? Nobody answered. We smiled, Una said. We smiled because we were still alive. We smiled because we still had each other. We smiled because no matter how bad things got, we never gave up hope. That is what my smile means, Warlord. It means that no matter what you do to us, you will never truly defeat us. You can kill our bodies, but you cannot kill our spirit. Gravik stared at her for a long time. Then he laughed. But this time, the laugh was different, quieter, almost thoughtful. You are interesting, little human, he said. I have met many species. I have heard many speeches. But I have never heard anything quite like that. Thank you. It was not a compliment. It was an observation. Your words are pretty, but words do not stop armies. Words do not block weapons. Tomorrow, we will begin our conquest. Your cities will burn. Your people will fall. And your smile will disappear like smoke in the wind. Una nodded. Maybe you are right, but maybe you are wrong. You have conquered 300 worlds, but you have never conquered humans. You do not know what we can do. Torma laughed. What can you do? You are weak. You are small. You have no real weapons. What can you possibly do against us? Una smiled again. A real smile this time. Warm and gentle, and somehow terrifying. I guess you will have to wait and see. The sky turned black on a Tuesday morning. It was not clouds. It was not a storm. It was ships. Thousands and thousands of ships, each one larger than any building humans had ever made. They blocked the sun over every major city on Earth. People stopped walking. Cars stopped moving. The whole world looked up and felt very, very small. Una was eating breakfast when it happened. She was 32 years old, a diplomat who had spent her life talking to difficult people and finding peaceful solutions. She worked for the United Earth Council, a group that handled problems between nations. But this was not a problem between nations. This was something else entirely. Her phone rang. It was Director Kang, her boss. His voice was shaking. They want to talk, he said. They sent a message. They want one person to meet them. Just one. Who are they? Una asked. We do not know. But they are not from here. Una put down her cup of tea. Her hands were steady. Her heart was not. The aliens had landed their main ship in a field outside Seoul. The ship was so large that it crushed everything beneath it for 5 kilometers. Trees, houses, roads all gone. Just flat, burned ground and a metal mountain sitting on top of it. World leaders argued for 6 hours about who should go. Some wanted to send soldiers. Some wanted to send scientists. Some wanted to send nobody at all and hope the aliens would leave. But the aliens sent another message. They did not want soldiers or scientists. They wanted someone who could speak. Someone who represented all of humanity. They chose Una, not because she was the best diplomat in the world, not because she was the smartest or the bravest. They chose her because she was the only one who said yes. I will go, she told the council. Someone has to. Director Kang looked at her with sad eyes. You understand that you might not come back. Una smiled at him. It was a gentle smile, the kind she always wore when things were difficult. I understand. But if I do not go, none of us might survive anyway. She took a helicopter to the landing site. From the air, she could see the ship clearly. It was shaped like a giant claw, dark and sharp against the green land around it. Smoke rose from its edges. The metal looked alive, like it was breathing. The helicopter landed 200 meters from the ship. Una stepped out alone. She wore a simple blue suit and carried nothing, no weapons, no papers, no technology. Just herself. The ground was warm under her feet. The air smelled like burning metal. She walked forward, one step at a time, her heart beating fast but her face calm. A door opened in the side of the ship. It was not like any door she had seen before. The metal simply moved aside, like water parting. And from that opening came the aliens. Yuna had imagined many things. She had imagined creatures with too many eyes, or no eyes at all. She had imagined monsters made of shadow or light. But she had not imagined this. They were tall. Very tall. The smallest one was 3 meters high. Their skin was gray and rough, like stone that had been left in the rain for 1,000 years. They had 4 arms each, thick and powerful. Their faces were flat, with small eyes that glowed orange like dying fires. They wore armor made of black metal, and they carried weapons that looked like they could destroy mountains. There were hundreds of them. They formed 2 lines, creating a path from the ship to where Yuna stood. And at the end of that path came their leader. Warlord Ridiculed was the largest of them all. He stood 4 meters tall, and his armor was covered in marks and symbols that Yuna did not understand. His eyes burned brighter than the others, and when he walked, the ground shook. He stopped 10 meters away from Yuna and looked down at her. For a long moment, nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Then Ridiculed opened his mouth. His voice was deep and rough, like rocks grinding together. This is what humanity sends. One small female? The soldiers behind him made sounds. It took Yuna a moment to understand that they were laughing. Yuna did not move. She did not look away. She simply smiled. It was the same smile she had given Director Kang. Gentle, calm, warm. The kind of smile that said, "Everything will be okay." Ridiculed tilted his head. He had conquered 47 worlds. He had destroyed civilizations that were older than Earth itself. He had seen species beg for mercy, fight to the death, or simply give up and accept their end. But he had never seen this. He had never seen someone smile at him. "Why do you make that face?" he demanded. "Do you not understand what is happening? I am Ridiculed, Warlord of the 7th Dominion. I have come to claim your world. Your people will serve us or they will die. And you stand there and show me your teeth?" "It is not showing teeth," Yuna said. Her voice was soft but clear. "It is called a smile. It is how we greet people. It means we are happy to meet you." More laughter from the soldiers. Louder this time. "Happy?" Ridiculed repeated. "You are happy to meet the one who will enslave your species?" "I am happy to meet anyone," Yuna said, "even if they have come to do us harm. Because meeting someone means there is a chance to talk. And talking means there is a chance for peace." Ridiculed stared at her. Then he laughed. It was the loudest sound Yuna had ever heard, like thunder breaking directly above her head. "Peace," he said. "You speak of peace while my army stands ready to burn your cities. You are either very brave or very stupid, human." "Perhaps both," Yuna said. And she smiled again. Ridiculed stopped laughing. Something in her smile bothered him. He did not know what it was. He had seen fear before he liked fear. He had seen anger, he respected anger. But this calm, this warmth, this strange expression on her small face. It was wrong. It was not how conquered people behaved. "Tell me, small one," he said slowly, "why do you not run? Why do you not scream? Why do you not beg for your life like every other species we have visited?" Yuna looked up at him. The sun was behind the ship, so his face was covered in shadow. But she could see his eyes clearly, burning orange in the darkness. "Because running would not help," she said. "Screaming would not help. Begging would not help. But talking might. So here I am, talking." Ridiculed studied her for a long time. Around them, his soldiers waited. The wind blew across the burned field. Somewhere far away, Yuna could hear helicopters, probably news crews, filming everything. "Very well," Gravik said finally. "We will talk. But understand this, smiling human. Your smile means nothing to me. Your words mean nothing to me. In the end, your world will fall, just like all the others. That is not a threat. That is simply the truth." Yuna nodded. "I understand. But may I ask you one question first?" Gravik waved one of his 4 hands. "Ask. Of all the worlds you have conquered, did any of them ever make you afraid?" The warlord went very still. His soldiers stopped moving. The wind seemed to stop blowing. "No," Gravik said. "Nothing has ever made me afraid." Yuna smiled one more time. "Then you have never met humans before."